So this is the solo from Piano Man by Billy Joel. I'll play it once at the regular speed, then I'll play it slower, and then I'll break it down. Sing us a song, and so forth. So let's slow that down. Let's look at the right hand first. Those four notes can be played just by skipping the B. And then I recommend bringing the thumb up to the E to replace the pointer. So like that. And then up to the C. Notice we're skipping the B both times, and walk down with the G and E. I would practice that as a unit. Here's the second phrase. I would start on a thumb on the F natural, and then pointer on the F sharp, and then reach out to octave Ds. There are two of them. It's a nice little bluesy riff. And then I would grab the C with your ring finger, pointer on the G, and thumb on the F, so that makes that kind of shape. That takes a little getting used to. Cross to the pointer, C, A, C. Okay, so that bit is, and starting from the bluesy riff before that. Okay, now I'm going to keep going. The next phrase, you kind of pick up where you left off, and so it's going to be a middle finger on the D, ring finger cross to thumb underneath on the E, G, C, and now we need A and C together, pinky and middle finger, G, E, cross to 3, middle finger on D sharp, D natural, and C. So that bit, that phrase, starting on middle finger on the D natural, or slower, and it's important to know that because that kind of connects to the second phrase, the previous phrase, so let's backtrack to that one a little slowly. Here's the third one. See, it connects right in there. And now we lead to the fourth phrase. I'm going to use pinky and middle finger, like so. And then just change the pinky to a white note, still A down here, and now change the pointer to a C. So that's your fourth phrase. Fifth phrase is kind of like the first one, except for it doesn't do E here. It doesn't do two E's, it does D sharp, and that allows you to cross your thumb underneath a little more smoothly to the E, G, and now we're going to reach a C octave, kind of like the D octaves earlier, and then we're going to use pinky and pointer on these, G sharp and C together, going to A, and I like to use thumb on the G natural after that, like that. And that allows me on the sixth phrase to cross over to middle finger, like that, F sharp, E, D, that is, and then I reach down, pointer on F sharp, and you're going to hold it for 2 beats while the rest of the hand does A, and then moves to C. So whenever you have stuff like that, you want to make sure that take a snapshot of the first moment in time where these two notes are together, and then the second moment in time where these two notes are together, and this stays down the whole time. That takes a little finger independence. And then we're going to just play chords at the end here. This is an inverted G chord with D on the bottom. Then you add a D with your pinky up here. Might be a stretch for some people. And then we do an inverted C chord, E, G, C, E. And then this one, I like to fill it up if you can. Use 2-for-1 deal with your thumb, F and G, B, D, and F. And if you can't reach that, you can just leave out the bottom F. And that leads us to Sing Us a Song. And that's the inverted C chord. So that's the breakdown of the right hand. So now I'll break down the left hand. We have octave A's here. And then you'll see this pattern very often where there's an octave on one note and then I use just a thumb to play the same note after that. So 2 beats, 1, 2, 3. So 2 beats on the regular octave, and then on the third beat move to just the thumb. So 1, 2, 3, and now I move to octave G's. I don't have G written down there, but that's a low G. And then I'm going to cross up to my pointer finger, although it doesn't really matter too much here, on the E, single E, so I got to make a quick leap. That's the leap. And then perhaps a middle finger on just that G. So that's... Now, if it's hard for you, you can literally leave out the E, and so then what you would have is just octave G's and then perhaps the thumb on a single G. Notice how much easier that is then. Meanwhile, your right hand's doing other stuff, so if you want to change that too, that would be just fine. It'll sound good too. Now we move up to octave D's and then a single D, same idea, octave F's, and then a single F. And now the left hand is going to get a little more active, so instead of playing for 2 beats and then 1 beat, it's going to play every beat, octave A's, single E, single A, octave G's, single E, also with the pointer finger, and G, octave F sharps, move to D with the pointer, and single F sharp, octave F's, single C. So those last 4 measures were the next 4 measures are very similar. They start the same way. But instead of going to F sharp, now we just go to octave D's. For 2 beats, we're back on the 2 beats and 1 beat thing. And then we just go up to octave G's, thumb, F's, thumb, E, thumb, D, thumb, and that takes us back to the refrain, Sing Us a Song. Now when we put the hands together, it's very important to watch the music and see how things align vertically and to try and line up your hands in that way. So at the beginning we have the A's all together. And then when we cross the thumb and the right hand to the E again, that's where the left hand thumb plays the single A. So notice that thumbs are together. Thumbs. And then right hand by itself, G, with the pointer finger. And then we're going to octave G in the left hand and A in the right hand. I'm playing that E down here. Notice that it's 2 notes in the right hand, A, C, left hand squeezes in E, G by itself, and then they line up together on that note. Now if you want to leave this note out, like I mentioned, you can do, and then you're going to feel like you're just sitting up there doing nothing on that C for a second, which is totally fine. Verses. Okay, going on, we have thumb, right hand with the D octaves in the left hand. Notice that we have an octave D here, and then we're moving to an octave D on the second beat here. 1 and 2, 3. Now that second octave with the right hand is with a single thumb in the left hand. Now we move up to the F's in the left hand, and then we have this C, G, F configuration here. Crossing to C. Now on this thumb, that's where the left hand's going to play its thumb. That's another, and then a C. So that's an instance, another instance of thumbs together and we lead right into the third phrase with the middle finger. Notice now we cross in the right hand to thumb. E's are together here on beat 2. So I'm going to start middle finger D, left hand octave A's, E's together, and then together G octaves in the left hand, C and A in the right hand. And we're doing a lot of 2 notes here versus 1 note here, so they'll be together, and then the right hand will have a note on its own. That's very common here. And then we have E's together, and then cross to the right hand's middle finger on D sharp. D lines up with the left hand's G and C. Here we go. We have a lot of F sharps coming up, octaves in the left hand and F sharp with D in the right hand. Now here, the next 2 measures, which is the 4th phrase, they move at the same speed. So they go now to the A and D together, and then without the octave now on the 3rd beat, and then all the F sharps become regular F naturals, and then we go to C and A instead of D and A, and then we go to C and F up here in the right hand instead of D and F. That's with the left hand's thumb. So those 2 measures are going on to the 5th phrase. Thumbs starting together on A. Anything you can observe about when the notes are the same, like with those E's, or when you have thumbs in both hands, those are good things to kind of line yourself up when you're playing piano. A, C, D and D sharp with the E, and then the thumb A in the left hand. Notice here's a moment of thumbs together, crossing to thumb in the right hand, E, G. Now octaves in both hands, G down here and C up here, okay? And then when we go to the 2nd beat, pointer on E, that's where we go to this pointer finger and pinky together, G sharp and C. And then that moves quickly to A. And notice that we have thumbs both on G, so it's 2 G's, 2 thumbs, okay? I'll play that phrase a little faster. There's your thumbs on G's together. Now we're moving to octave D's down here. Middle finger on F, walking down, E, thumbs together on D. That's another thing to observe. Now we're going to hang on to this right hand note while the thumb in the left hand and pinky play octave D's again by themselves. Now the right hand's turned by itself, A and F sharp with your pointer and middle finger. Leave that F sharp down, and you're going to get the pinky up on C and the left hand thumb to D. So these should be the 3 notes you're left with at that moment. Go to octave G's in the left hand, and the chord, that chord, D, G, B, a G, inverted G chord in the right hand together. So 1, 2, 3, that's the rhythm. Now we're going to add, now F octaves, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, refrain, okay? So that's the breakdown of the hands together and how they line up.